This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. This is me, Jonathan Alexander. I'm here to host our show, Life, Laughter, Happiness. Today, I have my co-host, Barbara, with me. Are you there, Barbara?
Yes, I am here. Hi, everybody. How are you tonight?
Now, the subject that we're talking about tonight is, well, the subject that's on everybody's mind, the coronavirus. I mean, it's been a very weird couple of weeks for, I think, the both of us. I mean, you know, the idea that my parents can't even go to the grocery store, and
well, yeah, I mean, I don't know about that being the big issue, but first of all, it goes in, everybody hears about it. Then it's panic. Then it's go buy everything, try to be prepared, but kind. People are kind. Now it's about, wow, look at those images of those people dying and the videos and the real magnitude of this pandemic. It's just, you go through then, you're in shock, a couple of days ago, I was nauseated. I was nauseous after I listened to the news update. I mean, it really has affected me in many different ways, which I'm sure it has everybody. Like what you're saying, you know, of course, the grocery store, okay, we can all identify with that and the toilet paper and all that. But what about the people who are dying or who have a loved one who's dying and they cannot even be by their bedside? What about that?
You know, how closed off is California? Like when you go on the streets, what does it look like?
Well, 3 days ago, I was down in Huntington Beach where I live, and I thought I'll pull over at my favorite parking spot, and I'll take a walk. I could not even get out of my car. I don't know what these people were thinking, but nobody was doing the social distancing at all. I mean, there were people everywhere, very close, and they're running, and a lot of their breath spray from sweating and breathing heavily is spraying everywhere. And you know what? Why risk it? I know people want to get fresh air, but hey, nobody was adhering to the stay-at-home warning and effort down where I was. But then the next day, I think that it calmed down a lot. But sure enough, I turned on the news and they were saying nobody is really, not nobody, but not everybody was adhering to this rule, which is so important to stop the spread of the virus. And I just got back in my car and I went home. And that's the safest place to be. The only time you should be leaving your home is if it's a necessity.
Right. I know.
And we can go. We can go. We're free to go. It's not martial law. We can go to the store. But the only people are open are the grocery stores and the doctor's offices. That's limited too. I had all of our doctor's appointments set up with new insurance and so glad I finally had that done for my daughter and I. Just checkups and specialists. And I was so excited to get a physical therapy. It has been a year now since I fell down the staircase, and I'm not right yet. You know I could get 100% back to normal if I could have therapy. So I got that okayed. And then they all called me one day, a couple of days ago, and said, please do not come in. It's not smart to sit in a waiting area at the doctor's office. Now they're doing everything on the phone.
Well, you can't do physical therapy.
So it changes every day. It changes every hour. It changes every hour what is open, what's not. So I went and I got all of my products today that I needed to get for my eBay, and cardboard inserts and envelopes and all that, because open today, it's closed tomorrow. I'm not sure. I mean, that's how it is. So I don't worry about not having food. I mean, that this is America. They're not going to, let us starve. But what about just another store that a lot of people were so worried about, the dry cleaners? Well, and they're risking their lives staying open for people. Well, that's like low on the list. There's other things high on the list. So I think people are in the mode of like preparation, and we are fortunate enough not to have had it start here, so we can prepare, have a little more time to prepare, because it seemed like Italy just got blasted and didn't have any time to prepare really for it. What was that?
This is what I think is so frustrating, because I think that there are things that people are saying that are educated guesses, but they're not things that they're saying based on what they know. Like, for example, there's some people that believe that, and they're making educated guesses, educated guesses that heat is going to slow down the virus. There's
well, you don't believe that, because I heard from a very good source that there are certain things that you can do, because it takes 3 weeks. It can take up to 3 weeks in your throat to mutate and then go down travel into your lungs. So you have every single day of your life. Why not have a hot cup of tea, Johnny? Why not be extra careful? Why not? Like, I made a hot cup of cocoa last night. Why not try?
I'm not saying don't be careful. What I'm saying is nobody really knows the answer to whether or not you can get it twice. Nobody knows the answer to that. I've heard the only reason, but see, the people that are saying that are making educated guesses are whether or not heat slows it down, or whether or not, like, one thing I've often wondered about is I was reading about the number of people that had it in the United States, and what I noticed was that there was a lot of people that were recovered was very low. So I asked
Johnny?
my dad, and he what?
Go ahead, but I mean, this really isn't about statistics, but if this is a personal thing on how it has affected your family, that's good, because that's what I think is interesting. Anybody could turn on the television and look at the numbers and statistics and all of that, and how many people died here and there. How did it affect your life? This is the question tonight.
All right. Well, okay, I can go there. I'll go back there. I guess what is affecting your life is that it's weird seeing your parents not able to go to the grocery store. And
I didn't know that the grocery stores were closed in Florida.
It's not that they were closed. No. Okay, you need to
understand. So they didn't want to go?
No, that's not it. No, that's not it. Well, I said that is it. See, you need to understand something, okay? The coronavirus, if it were to affect me, nothing would probably happen. I mean, I would get sick, and then I would recover. I might be in the hospital for a while, but I'd recover. If it affected you, nothing would happen. I mean, you might get sick, Not, or Priscilla, probably nothing would happen because she's, 13 years old. My parents were in their 70s. If the coronavirus were to hit them, the results could be devastating.
Well, we all know that. We're talking about statistics once again. I'm just like, okay, let's talk about how it's affecting our life. We know the statistics. We know that it's harder on older people. But it's not anymore. And now you're saying false things because it's not about age anymore. There's plenty of younger people getting it. Plenty in their 20s and in their 30s. So
they're
that's
getting
what
it,
we're
but they're
talking
not
about
dying
here.
from it. They're getting it, but they're not dying from it.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Alexander. But, let's talk about how it's affecting our lives, okay, in, little simple areas, like the grocery store problem that you guys seem to be having. What I'm trying to say is that my mom, because she's elderly, she cannot go to the grocery store unless there is, tomorrow, there's going to be an elderly hour where people who are elderly are allowed to go to the store. You see, that's really had an effect. And my parents, they used to bring me back Chinese food and all sorts of stuff. That's not there anymore. I have to pace when I drink my orange juice. I used to not have to pace. Oh my God, that sounds like somebody telling their, hey, didn't I say that to Lisa for me? Drink all the orange juice. I have to go risk my life tomorrow and buy more. It's true. It is. Every time I leave, she has not left the house for 4 days. Every time I leave, I basically am risking my life. And people are too embarrassed to wear their masks. Well, look around. Go look at the news, like Johnny's stating all the facts about it. Well, look at the harsher reality. If sometimes a young person gets it and they do die, or they're in their 50s, that to me is not old, or their 60s, that to me is not old. Okay, yeah, fear. We're worried about our older people. What about somebody who just started dating, okay, and they've gone on 1 or 2 dates and they really like each other? Do they continue to do that? Or what if they just had one date? What if they are lonely? I went over to a friend's to drop something off at the front. I didn't even go in. I didn't want to, okay? I was leaving, and I heard the neighbor go, but I'm lonely. She was saying this to one of her older friends who was dropping off something to her, and the lady says, we all are lonely. Nobody wants to get near. I can't get near you. Nobody wants to get near anybody. Okay, that's just the way it is. But I'm lonely, she kept yelling out. Well, so we've got all these people that are so lonely, they'll go without a shower all day, moping in their bathrobe with slippers around the neighborhood and start touching everything, Well, no, we have to protect ourselves, people. I like it, actually. I feel like there's not me, and several of my friends have said the same thing. Huge level of pressure lifted off our shoulders. There's a group of people that have finally a break after 10 years, like maybe wrenching as a mechanic every single day except for a day off once a week. And those people, it's like, okay, yeah, they have to get in line for the unemployment line. But, some of them are just so relieved to get a break from just reality. What about that? That is good for those people. What about the globe? It's good for the globe. It's slowing down so much. It's like letting Mother Earth have a breath of fresh air. For other people, they're so worried. And what we suggest for them to do is the people who are worried about financial crisis, that is something very real for them. Well, then call up when we have our psychic night and ask about your future, get some solace there. But
and I'm getting
try to stay safe, stay in.
Yeah, I'm working on getting a psychic Imera, who will probably, I want to have her on talking about it. She's a business
What
psychic.
about Dale? Dale's next Friday night, talk to Ardell
Deal-
Shear and
Yeah.
ask her what your future beholds. I mean, people want to know. What about the people that were dying and had their days numbered? Well, guess what? The whole playing field is level. And how are they feeling right now? Well, they're not so lonely. Everybody's in the same boat. We have the careless ones that are, getting drunk on spring break, those college kids. You all saw that. And that's going to even be worse for their region right there. And didn't you see that? They were all partying, Johnny. How'd you think? Were they being safe? How'd you feel about that? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Right there in your home state, Florida, party it up, Hey, summer break, it wasn't off for them. They're like, hey, if I get the coronavirus while I'm partying, so be it. That's the mentality some have out there that we are dealing with. Those people are risking our lives. It is important. Lay low. If the government says stay in for a week, stay in 2 weeks. A month, stay in 2 months. I mean,
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
be careful. Do you want to get the flu? Yeah, you might recover from it, but I'll tell you one thing. It's 20 times more uncomfortable than the regular flu that you're normally used to getting, okay? It is very hard to get through, even if you're young, and it's very horrible before you get over that hump. So don't get it.
Wow.
Wear your gloves, wear your mask, be careful, don't travel, stay in as much as you can, make your home a beautiful, non-cluttered environment because you're going to be there for a while.
That's true. I mean, but you said this has been calming for you.
For me and other people very close to me, yes, because they get a break. They don't have to go somewhere. But I have the luxury that I could still make money from my home, which I do every day anyway. And the internet and the eBay but I'm, what if I want to do a photo shoot, which I had, okay, I have an event in Toronto. That was canceled 5 days ago. I had an event in Vegas. That was canceled. I had an event in Aspen. That was canceled. I'm a model. So, yeah, it hurts. But there also is part of it that is a little bit like, oh, my gosh, I could drive to L.A. and back in a very short amount of time because there's no traffic. L.A., there's no traffic. I was driving around there, Beverly Hills. It's like how it really should be, or you would want it to be, actually.
No.
I don't have a guy coming up and asking me questions and getting too close to me or getting in my face or staring me down. People keep to themselves. In fact, they keep 6 feet away from each other. This is like, wow, my comfort zone. Hey, I've got a comfort zone now in the world. I love it. But it's hard for me to say I love something that is so devastating and will be so devastating to so many families. But, hey, I'm here this is the topic today. That's how it's affecting me.
Right.
And, I'm growing off the nails. My fingernails were sore. yeah, is that what I'm going to complain about? When somebody's dying from this, you see the news and they're all in these bubbles, and I mean, and then they're also telling you that half of LA will be dead, and I live like an hour south of LA. I mean,
I don't believe that LA.
I mean, it makes you want to throw up. It makes you want to throw up, though. I mean, you can't lie about certain things. I know there's a lot of people out there, scammers and false conspiracy theories. I've read it all too, but the main thing is you're not going to say that's not real when you actually see the news and the videos and the leaked videos from China on YouTube and see the videos from Italy and how they're racing around and they're overworked and they cannot even take in the hundreds a day that are coming in with coronavirus and treating them, and what's going to make somebody maybe like me in a couple of weeks, if I get it, will there be room? Will I get a treatment? I mean, so then maybe I will die even if I'm fairly young and strong. So it's the unknown, Johnny. It's the unknown. There's some people I don't think it's affecting you much, but there's a lot of little things and a lot of big things. Everything.
I mean, it's what's funny is that I looked it up online and like the 19. I looked up online. I've compared it to the other plagues that we've had, and it's really not that big if you look at the amount of people. Well,
yeah, but I mean, if you want to look at the Spanish plague, okay, and look at the different plagues, okay. Yeah, that's true. It's not as bad. But then again, look how much more advanced we are as people in between all those years of those different plagues. Of course it's not going to be as bad because we have medicine. We have ways. I mean, we're not like in the trenches fighting a war in World War II with the swine flu getting in like up to our knees in mud, and we sleep there, eat there, and live there and fight there. I mean, that's not what most people are doing. So that's why those were so much more devastating. But this is a killer. This is, I mean, it could live on steel for up to 9 days. Steel, different kinds of steel. Look up that, everybody, because that's why I just get that disinfected on all the doorknobs, the handles for the windows, anywhere you're touching quite often, coming and going. And they say, some people, I think this is too drastic, but when you come in from out there, you have to take off all your clothes and get in the shower completely. Hot water and soap wash everything out, so does detergent, and keep washing. I feel like that was probably too drastic when I came into the house. I got the disinfectant and did all the handles. But I don't have to ask you what you think. You think that it's fine if we get it, and we'll probably get through it. But I don't want to get it. I don't want to get it, and I don't want to spread it. So, plus, they say if you get it, you're not always the same afterwards. You might have breathing problems in your future.
Where'd you hear that?
Oh, on the news, and there was a man, he got through it, and they were happy, and they did a thing on Dateline or 60 Minutes, something like that, Lester Holt. Well, then he was all happy. He went through it, and he talked about it, how horrible it was to get through. But then a doctor came on. They said, well, yeah, we don't know if later on they were kind of alluding to the fact that the people will have some lung problems in there, which is not fun. Lung problems are very serious to have. Starts with an infection,
like
and if you don't treat it, it can turn into a fungus, and it could grow through your whole entire body and kill you. So lung problems are very, very serious. Plus, they're uncomfortable. I mean, do you think that people like coughing, or they like to wheeze or be short of breath. I mean, we can't take this for granted, our health. There's a lot of things you can take for granted, like, my spray tan place, my nail place, my hair place. But you know what? I'm not gonna take my lungs for granted. Heck no. No way. You know what? I treat those like my body is my temple.
Your body's your temple?
Yeah, have you not ever heard that?
Yes, I've heard of that. A
lot of Christians say that. It's a Christian thing.
I mean,
it's a very Christian way to follow, as far as strong Christians. What they put inside their body, they value their body because it's a gift from God. So they don't want to pollute it with, cigarette smoking and eating horrible stuff and junk food and just crap and a bunch of sugar and fat. They put healthy things in it, and they treat it like it is a temple because it's a gift from God. It's a belief I have. So, maybe you would think it sounds funny, but to me it's just kind of something I grew up with.
This is interesting. When you talk to your mom, did she say that to you recently what did she say about the coronavirus?
Well, my mother has a lung disease already called IPF, idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, and that is a 100% mortality rate in 6 years of diagnosis. So, she's already been isolated. But if anybody gets near her and she gets it, then she will die for sure. She will totally die. I mean, her body would never be able to fight it off ever in a million years. So these are the people that they're really worried about. I'm not worried about my mother with the coronavirus. I'm worried about my mother because of her other lung disease. And now we're all pretty much in the same boat as my mother. We got to be careful.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. When you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself, talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
She has a wonderful, big, huge home in a very small, isolated town. But it's in Washington State, where it's one of the number one places. So thank goodness she made it to Hawaii and back for their vacation and in time. Because if you go out of the country, you can get stuck, and that is absolutely no fun. And to get all your credentials and all of your papers and your tests so you can come back into the country, and what kind of special plane are you coming in? I mean, and how expensive that is to get stuck in another country. I mean, this is a nightmare in hell for a lot of people right now.
Yeah. I mean, what about some of your friends, like Elkie? How has it affected her?
Well, Elkie and I both didn't even know the magnitude of it because we missed the president's alert to it, which was a Wednesday. So it was this last Wednesday, I'm pretty sure it was. And I was by her bedside for 7 days at the hospital because she was severely injured in a rollerblading accident. We were doing rollerblading together. So that was on the 8th, Saturday. So I was very busy with the emergency I was helping with and worried about my friend's life, pulling through that while the whole world was like, what do we call it, like hoarding at the grocery store. And I got out of that. I mean, I was going back and forth, sleeping in the day, holding her hand. She wanted me there more in the evening. She had some very rough days. So finally got her out of the hospital 6 days later, thank God, and got her home to my place because most of her family's all of her family's in Germany. I mean, that's what friends are for. And then I nursed her back to health for 5 days. Well, yeah, then we turn on the TV. So luckily we had an amazing friend. That first night I got her in here, settling, that's a lot to do. Getting her in here, getting the walker, getting the pharmaceuticals, figuring it all out, marking it. I mean, I was like a nurse, okay, and a mom and everything. So then somebody drops off all of this food, like from 5 different grocery stores, like good stuff, normal stuff, like paper goods, paper towels. They're like, well, there's no toilet paper anywhere, but got you guys a bunch of napkins and paper towels. And I'm thinking, wow, this person really wants to make sure we have.
Are you there, Barbara? I'm sorry about that.
Well,
that was
I don't
my
know what
fault.
happened. Am I back on live?
I'll tell you. Well, what happened
Well, do we have to talk about it right
fault.
now? Let's
talk
about it later and let me finish my story.
We'll talk about it later. This is by accident. It was an accident. Go on with what you're saying.
Okay.
What you're saying.
All right. Okay. So I was thinking, wow, this person really cares about us and our napkins and all that. The food, I mean, wow, the spread. Well, then, okay, so I start really watching the news. Then I go out to the store at 11 p.m. the next day because, he didn't know everything that I liked. Then I was in shock, Johnny. All those aisles were empty, and people were just like walking around like they look like white as a ghost, like in shock, and saying, "Hi, how are you?" And I'm like, okay. It was just really weird, surreal feeling. And I came home and I said, Priscilla, don't tell Elkie. She's trying to heal. We have to prepare, though. This is pretty bad out there. And that's when the reality set in. So I was just in shock, in dismay. And then I went through all those feelings. But I had already been through my friend. I thought she was going to die for a few days. So my eyes were puffy from crying. I mean, I stopped my life, basically, dedicated my life to getting her well, and then got her stable on her feet with a walker. And then I'm glad to report she's probably going to be totally 100% fine. But then, now this I am faced with. The world's upside down. So, wow. And then my other best friend was missing for a while in Brazil, but he had just got his phone stolen and his computer stolen. So, but I hadn't heard from him for 12 days. So literally then his mom called me and said, we found him, and tears spurted out of my eyes. So it's been like a roller coaster, up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay, she got hurt. She's got better. Okay, he's missing. He was found. Okay, meanwhile, flatlining across the whole world is our people, dying. And I'm the sole caretaker for my daughter. And thank God I have one of those top-of-the-line masks because I was going to travel a month ago when people weren't really thinking it was that serious, like it's not hitting America. But we still got our masks, because people were coming from there. Well, it came very quickly after the thought of, it's not going to get to us. then all of a sudden it was here.
I mean, it was a shock, and now all the people that are getting it, like, did you know that Rand Paul has it?
Yes. And, they're getting probably the most special attention. But a lot of people are just a number at this point. I mean, they're not really. I mean, everybody loves them, but there's the next and the next and the next and the next. I mean, there's only so many ambulances. There's only so many hospital beds. There's only so much blood. There's only so many respirators. And, I mean, just be careful. I mean, when you touch something outside of your home, even they're saying to keep it very disinfected inside, because go out to do laundry, or a lot of people walk their dogs. Just don't touch a handle. Try not to. If you're going to have to do doorknobs, wear gloves. Then you come home and then you take them off. I mean, I'm not the expert here. Just there's a lot of safety tips out there that you need to be taking in seriously, and it's just one of those things I've said so many times in my own life. Oh, that'll never happen to me, and it has. Several of the things you say will never happen to you, then they do. Happens when you reach like half of your life, and then you think, well, I've always wanted to live to 101. Maybe I'm not going to, and that kind of sucks. But let's just try to think of it as a love. It's just everything like a love circle, to where if we give out love and give out help, it's going to come back. It's going to be that. If we put out negative, what happens with that. So, Johnny, I feel when I go out there, many grocery stores, things, supplies I've had to bring back here, I feel like there is love. I feel such this strong energy of love out there in the world. It is very apparent to me. I don't see road rage. I don't see people in lines yelling. You're not going to see a line. I really see kind people. I feel great energy, very, very come together type of world energy. What do you feel?
So you feel like people? Well, I was outside and I saw a woman doing a walk with her kids, and I said, "So, do your kids like being out of school?" She goes, "Oh yes." And I went, "What do you think about it?" I said, "I like it." So,
some are going to like it, and some are not going to like it. Some like it now, and some are going to be saying, "Hello, when's my kid going back to school so I can focus and think straight?" But everybody's situation is so different. Nobody thought we were going to go through this in our lifetime. Well, maybe some people did, a few, but most of us didn't think we would ever go through like something like this in our own lifetime. And for it to actually be going in our lifetime and happening, wow. I look at my child who's 12, and I think the world is even going to change more. The world is changing so rapidly. There's going to be a very more like a world like you're living in a bubble, like social distancing. Maybe we needed this, though. Maybe, we're tired of people walking by and slapping our butts. Maybe we don't want to be close. Like, hey, do you see my elbows? I'm making a circle. Like, this is my personal space. You won't even have to do that anymore. It's amazing. But then it's a different life for this new generation. So much more online stuff's going to be happening. The studying. There's going to be so much more of that. But when I was out, I could think, I bet a lot of people are so glad that the cops are just like, I don't even see a cop. I'm not going to worry. Like, there's no cop behind me. I didn't see anybody pulling anybody over. It's quite amazing.
How many cars did you see on the road, though?
Well, if somebody, say, came over here from very small town, I don't want to even name a town. It's not very nice, but okay, small town, small city. If they came over, they would think, oh, gosh, there's so much traffic. This is scary. But me, living here for almost 30 years and driving up to L.A. and back, I thought, wow. Have I ever gone 55, 65, 70 the whole way and back? No, never, except for, like, really late at night. But, no. When you're going home at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, you do not have rush hour. So many people are home from work. That was amazing. I just shot up there and shot back. It was like not a big deal. So that was really cool. I liked that.
Wow.
What about The Bachelor? Did you see? I was looking up Huntington Beach, who was, how many people are affected here since I live here. And I think the number at that time was 59 and no deaths. But yesterday I saw a post on Instagram from one of the bachelors who got together with the girl Cassie. I really liked that bachelor. In fact, it's the only one I even remember because he picked such the greatest girl, and she lives in Huntington Beach, and I think she's so beautiful and pretty. Well, he announced that he has it, and then he's quarantined with her family in Huntington Beach. So that's right next door to me. Well, I don't know where they live, but I live in Huntington Beach too. I feel like what we're seeing, though, with the actors and the athletes, like you were saying another day, Johnny, it's true because they are, if they're celebrities, they've gone and they've met tons of people and they've shaked tons of hands and they're out and about so much. I bet they can't even think back and think, okay, where did I touch somebody? Well, everywhere. I can look back and say, oh, wow, where was the last time I touched somebody who coughed? I remember at the mobile station like a month ago. What?
Somebody like Donald Trump who doesn't have a choice, Yes,
and I thought it was very irresponsible for any of those people that we're watching who are supposedly we look up to guide us and lead us, that they are not practicing what they preach, okay? Why are you still shaking hands? Why is the Joe Biden, who just won something, kissing everybody on the lips and cheek? A lot of hugging going on. When they're telling the Americans the social distancing rule or warning or hope that we do it, the only reason that China was able to contain this was because they completely went on emergency lockdown. And they would go to people's homes and they would stick that thermometer in your ear. And if it was over something, they would haul you off screaming. And they had big suits on with the bubble, and they were not fooling around. I don't see that happening here, that kind of ruling, which thank God, but the only way that they were able to contain it, do you understand? By not letting anybody out, and it's the little checks around however they were doing it. Not a lot of the information, the real information is getting to us, but it is that those people were taken away out of their homes because they couldn't be trusted if they had a temperature. So, a fever. Well, a lot of people say, well, this is socialism. Oh, I don't want to be told what to do. Okay, well, you're not really going to be arrested if you go out, but can't you just please be, can't you just act appropriately and be considerate of another person's life? That would be great.
I mean, these kids that are spring breakers, what that's, I was going to say something radical, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you injected the coronavirus into a healthy 18-year-old, what would happen. I mean, of course they get sick, but they would develop probably immunity to it. So, I don't know. I mean, you're right. You can't keep people indoors.
But Johnny, who would be up for doing that kind of test? I've been looking at a lot of different things. There's this documentary, and they did this test on many people. You know how people, they'd be lower income and they need student or something, they need $50 extra, and they would go in. I even knew people years ago that did this, and they would allow themselves to do trial tests. And okay, you'd be a person that, say for instance, you do not have this, so they would test you. I don't know. Okay, a lot of different variations of, you go in there and you get like $50-$60 for being like basically a lab rat human. And this one test went completely wrong with many people. I think it's on Netflix right now. You should look it up. It's very interesting. Oh, wow. These people. One still is paralyzed, but wow, what they went through. Okay, so they have to take about 8 months, I've heard and read, for once they get the vaccine that they think they have. That's going to take another 8 months to test it on people to see if that works. See, this could be 2 years. I think it's really actually going to be a way of life for the rest of our lives for the younger generation. The people who are born today probably won't know anything different. They will not probably grow up shaking people's hands. There probably won't be like parties at clubs. I don't know. I mean, have you thought about all those things? How this could change the way everybody lives, really.
Yeah. I mean, what I think is sad is...
Go ahead.
I know, it's a little bit, it's like you're not used to, just our whole way of life involves getting near people.
Yeah, and it's sad because I think, wow, it's so weird. It's surreal. You drive by a place and you think, that's where I had my birthday party, and everybody's hugging and dancing, and nobody cares, and they were dancing together. Who cares if you sweated the night away dancing with anybody? And you cannot do that. You can't do that anymore. And I don't know for how long.
I know. I mean.
And what about the one day you can order a pizza and the next day you can't? I don't really care about that much, but I enjoyed that luxury last night because it was Sunday night, and I did order a couple from Pizza Hut. They're making a killing now, but my friend Kurt from Mexico, he says it doesn't seem like a big frenzy there, and the statistics show not that bad in Mexico at all. But he said it was where we could order food. Now, today, we can't. So, therefore, every day it's changing. So, that's why I think people are still going to be in the shopping panic mode for a while. But the other little things that are convenient to us that we enjoy, they're going to probably be gone for a while. I mean, what about restaurants? You can't go have a drink with, a lot of people have their favorite little pad. They hang out and eat together. Some people are bar flies. They go like Cheers every night after work. If that's their life, those are their people. They're not going to be able to do that anymore.
I know. It is amazing.
It's sad. It's really a lot to take in. So then there's that issue of taking it in for a couple of days, depending on who you are. Then it's the issue of just that shock or the life. What, like a lot of people had a wedding. A lady had to have her baby at Walmart on the ground. I mean, there's life is still going on. There's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of, what about all the athletes, the high school kids that were trying to figure out what college wanted them because they were the top athletes, and the college top athletes that were ready to go pro, and all that is cut short, like sliced, like a boom, done. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The stories I've been hearing about these kinds of heroes, though, has been amazing and inspiring.
Don't forget the Olympics.
I was thinking about that, too, and people are thinking, oh, well, that's going to be okay. That's going to be the same. That's going to go on. Today?
No, but they did cancel. I think so, but they did cancel it.
And that was going to be in Japan, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's so sad. People, they train for 4 years, and it means everything to them. Everything. Then there's going to be some businesses that will just start thinking, get creative. There's going to be a boom, too, in other areas. So start putting your heads together, people. Let the light bulbs go off. And you might just come up with something that is just the next best craze that everybody has to have during isolation. So, oh, yeah, there's deals going on. There's Netflix giving me 3 months free. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on like that. So keep your mind open. Don't be closed off and negative, thinking, oh, my goodness, look at all what is taken away. Look at the things that are opening up in front of you. Try to find those. That's my advice. Try to find those doors that could be opened for you. Maybe you'll find the rainbow after all of this very destructible tunnel that you will have to either go through, observe, watch. But they do say that by the end of this, every single person will be touched personally by it, whether it be a friend we lose or a family member, or in some way we will deeply each be touched by this.
That's, I know. I mean, I will tell you that today's statistics make me feel better when you compare it to yesterday's statistics.
Well, that's good. It's wonderful. Depends on where you're from. It depends on what you do. And I like that they were able to contain it somewhere. What was the latest good that you've heard?
Well, it was basically, let me make sure, I'm going to get it up so that I can read it to you in 1 second here. Okay, let's see here. Oh, I might have read it wrong, but I remember seeing that it was a lot less, but let's see here. Um, I know that it seems hard. I think that it's an instinctive thing. I think we're going to have to be instinctive with making sure that we don't get close to each other. Does that make sense?
So the good news is that they said that we have a better chance at not losing people if we don't get close to each other.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that eventually we'll figure something out, because I do think that, like, and also they're saying that when they have people that are recovered, might be getting antibiotics from them as a treatment. Did you know that?
Well, that's great. Yeah, that's very good. I mean, they have to be giving them something. I mean, The Bachelor's looking like as gorgeous as ever, doing a little, like, live Instagram video to the world, and he looks great. He didn't look like he was suffering, so great. He's probably on the best antibiotics money can buy.
Yeah. Well, we're about out of time, but did you want to do the shout-out?
Sure. Okay, so that was a lot, and it was very intense, and it was very, very, it's just real. It's just real what's going on. So Johnny and I would like to invite you to write any of your concerns and comments. Please write to us at Life, Laughter, Happiness on our website, lifelaughterhappiness.com. We will get back to you, and we would love to hear from you. And please go to our YouTube channel to hear this show and many other, maybe more upbeat shows that you can laugh with us, and also our love and dating shows, which now may be a thing of the past for a while, because people, you're going to have to be careful, and you're going to have to stay in, and you're going to have to find a new way of dating, which I think is going to be still fun. It's still going to be fun. They are saying just go to each other's home, make dinner, have your candlelight dinner, do all your dancing at home, and you're going to have to just do that for a while. But thank you very much for listening, and we can't wait to hear from you on our Facebook, Life, Laughter, Happiness, on our Facebook group, and our Twitter and our Instagram. And we're here for you. Right, Johnny? We're here for them.
Right. Yes. Well, good night, Barbara, and good night, everyone.
Good night, Johnny. Okay, be safe, everybody. Stay in. Good night.